Sleep apnea is a serious condition, one that affects millions of people. And if you don't treat it, it can lead to some pretty scary stuff like high blood pressure, heart attacks, and strokes. For the longest time, just getting a diagnosis was a huge ordeal. But today, we're going to talk about how that is all changing, thanks to a revolution that's basically bringing the sleep lab right into your own bedroom.
I mean, seriously, think about this for a second. Picture yourself trying to get a normal night's sleep, but you're in a strange bed, in a strange room, a technician is watching you, and you're covered in wires. Sounds pretty much impossible, right?
Yep, 20 plus. The traditional in-lab sleep study, it's called a polysomnography, involves hooking you up to more than 20 different sensors. They track literally everything, from your brain waves all the way down to your leg movements.
And for the longest time, this super inconvenient and, let's be honest, really uncomfortable process was the only way. It was the only option if you wanted answers and needed to start treatment. But thankfully, that's not the world we live in anymore.
Okay, so this is where things get really interesting. There's a huge shift happening right now, one that's taking the whole diagnostic process out of that sterile lab and putting it right where you're most comfortable, your own home.
And the Home Sleep Apnea Test, or HSAT, is the hero of this story. It's a total game changer. It's designed from the ground up to be easy for patients, way more accessible, and super effective for diagnosing the most common kind of sleep apnea.
So, how did these two methods really stack up against each other? Let's put them head to head and see who comes out on top.
Now, this first point is huge, and it's not just about being comfortable. Think about it. When you're in your own bed, sleeping like you normally do, the test captures a snapshot of a real night's sleep for you, and that can be way more valuable for getting an accurate diagnosis.
And then there's just the sheer hassle of it all. An in-lab study can be a total nightmare to schedule. You might have to wait for weeks, take time off work, drive to the clinic. With the home test, all of those headaches just disappear. The kit just shows up at your door, simple as that.
And of course, let's talk about the cost. It's a big deal. Because there's no expensive facility or overnight staff needed, the home test is just way more affordable. And that means this critical test is finally within reach for a lot more people.
And how about getting your results? Wow, this timeline just says it all, doesn't it? Waiting weeks for lab results can mean you're delaying treatment. With a home test, you can have answers and be on your way to better sleep in just a matter of days. And this chart just puts it all into perspective. I mean, look at that difference. You're going from a web of over 20 restrictive sensors in the lab down to just 2 or 3 simple ones at home. It's way less intrusive, which, surprise, surprise, means a much more natural night of sleep.
So, you might be wondering, okay, this sounds almost too simple. How does it actually work? Well, it's remarkably straightforward.
It really is as easy as it looks. The kit shows up at your house with super simple instructions. You just wear the small device overnight, and it quietly records important things like your breathing and oxygen levels. Afterwards, a real doctor reviews all that data and gives you a diagnosis.
All right, so I know what you're probably thinking right now. This sounds great, but is it really for me? That's a fantastic question, so let's tackle some of the most common ones right now.
This is the big one, isn't it? If it's so much simpler, does that mean you're sacrificing accuracy?
The short answer is a resounding yes. It is very accurate for what it's designed to do. See, it doesn't track every single little thing that an in-lab study does. Instead, it's laser-focused on reliably measuring the most critical data points you need to diagnose obstructive sleep apnea, which happens to be the most common form of the condition. So that brings us to another key question. Is this option for absolutely everyone?
Well, here's the deal. For the most part, if you're an adult and you're dealing with those classic symptoms, loud snoring, waking up gasping for air, or just feeling totally exhausted during the day, you're probably a great candidate. Now, it is important to note, for patients with other, more complicated or serious health conditions, a doctor might still say, you know what, let's do the full in-lab study to be safe.
When you take a step back and look at the big picture, the rise of home sleep testing isn't just about sleep apnea. It's actually part of a much bigger trend in how we approach healthcare as a whole.
This is the direction everything is moving. We want solutions that fit into our lives, not the other way around. Technology is finally making it possible to get really effective medical care that is also convenient, comfortable, and totally focused on the patient.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's all about removing barriers. Less stress, less cost, and less waiting around means more people can get the diagnosis and the treatment they need to actually improve their health. It's as simple as that.
So we'll leave you with this question to think about.
When you really consider the impact that being tired has on your work, on your relationships, on your overall health, what is one single night of truly restful sleep worth to you? It's something to think about.